Okay, let's go.
Right.
Yo, what's up, guys? DJ here with Crackles.
Hello,
We're,
everybody.
yeah, we're here for another Friday Theorizer. And before we begin, how are you doing tonight, Crackles?
Oh dear God, I need sleep.
Uh,
It's been an incredibly busy week,
yeah,
but hey, I'm hanging in there.
got it.
Tomorrow I don't have to work, and I only have to leave to do laundry. Other than that, I can just rest.
So, uh,
All right, so let me get this thing set.
yeah,
Oh, if you had wanted one with the proper mouth flaps, then I can actually give you that.
I mean, yeah, we could do that a bit later.
All
I,
right, no problem with that. I
uh,
will get off so I'm not looking at your cards.
yeah, I was about to say, I'm guessing you're looking at the screen, but yeah, you sent me to, I tried it out, and so,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah, most of mine do have an open and a closed version if that's what you were looking for.
I mean, it would be great. It's
All right.
not necessary,
Yeah, we can do
but
that for next time.
yeah, yeah. Uh,
So, are you all, did you watch the rest of Over the Garden Wall? Or are you waiting until like Monday to watch that?
I
We don't need to talk about the episode, I'm just curious.
no, I normally watch those the night of. I watch it Tuesday night. That way, it's fresh in my head. So
Okay, sometimes I like to space it out so I can like actually just sit and enjoy it, you know? I
yeah,
don't want to rush through any of it.
no, I definitely get what you mean, and sometimes that will help, but I always want to make sure that I'm also remembering it accurately, and the best thing for me is to watch it the day of.
I
So,
get you. But sometimes you need to sit with like an episode.
yeah,
Like your initial thoughts are your initial thoughts, but sometimes you won't notice something until you've sat and thought about it for a while. Like,
uh,
hey, wait a minute.
yeah, no, definitely. There's some clothes that make me do that. And yeah, I would need to take a day or two to watch it. But I didn't feel that way with over the golden wall. But
Did you change your opinions on any of the episodes as the week went on?
I mean, overall, my overall opinion is that as a whole, they're good. And, you know, I'm now questioning why I didn't watch it sooner, but individually, no, like, they
I
were,
gotcha. It is one of those things where it sort of flew under the radar for a lot of people, I would say.
yeah, I mean, uh,
Alright, so I see you have a nice armor building set right now. That's what you're going for.
yeah, so I will definitely tell her when I first heard about the Gulf War, in my opinion, first off, I thought it would have been something like Alice in Wonderland, if you get what I mean. But
Oh no, I get you.
yeah, I mean, it's definitely interesting, and I will grow to like it. But since this is my first time watching it, and and I'm also having to analyze it as well, I can't get into that mindset of, would I be a fan of this quite yet.
Gotcha.
I know I will be able to, but I'm not at that point yet. I mean, uh, when we began Curry ago, what was your initial mindset going into it?
I will say my initial mindset without going back and watching the actual video for it is that I thought that okay, this is very, very French.
Mm,
And two, um, I was wondering what the stakes in this were really going to be. It didn't grab me off the bat. I will just flat out say.
okay, so I mean, you could kind of see what I'm completely able to comfortable. So, yeah. But no, I did that. I do. When you're not used to a show, you can't really imagine yourself as a fan of it when you begin. But over time, you have become more interested in the overall story and how everything plays out.
Yeah, and I'd go as far as to say that I consider myself a Kodioko fan at this point.
Yeah, no, I got it. Makes sense. So,
All right. Well, did you want to start us off for the evening?
yeah. Okay, so tonight I'm covering what if the Simpsons was cancel after season 10 a glimpse into a alternate timeline. Well, the world split the close is called this at the peak of its golden age. Now, the purpose of this theory is season 10 of the Simpsons, which aired from 98 to 99, is often seen as the end of the golden age. It is alternate timeline. Fox pulls the plug at the end of the season. Level DT decline in Los Texas retention is desired to end on a high note or in or a shift in network probability. So what happens to the Simpsons pop culture and television if the show ended then with the legacy preserved, but evolution cut short? Okay, so those three major impacts that would have, but number one, cultural legacy becomes crystallized instead of becoming the show that we're on too long. So can't lead in good to know say that instead becoming the show that went on too long, the success would be remembered as a perfect 10-season classic, a masterpiece of animated satire untouched by the criticism of little season. It joins the legs of the Twilight Zone, which against of the Office UK. Culture and iconic. Wolf episode ever just vanished, becoming because there aren't many bad episodes, but many bad ones to speak about, to speak of yet. The Simpsons movie hit differently or doesn't exist. The 2007 movie woman needs to perform because a trial recall event. The validity of the time revives the velocity with a full theatrical send-off. Oh, it never happens at all. We've been fed to imagine what could have been.
Okay, I will ask you this.
Okay.
Seeing as this would be like you're talking about the movie,
Yeah.
taking place after season 10. Um, do you think that since they had fewer seasons, would a movie even be like something they'd be up for?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It will.
I know you said it'd be like it would be a revival, but would they have even like earned one? Or do you think they would still be like the cultural like juggernaut with just the 10 seasons?
I believe they would be in some aspect. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that like they're gonna have all the predictions that people talk about today. I mean, I think that whole system predict the future at will come to decide after season 10.
Okay, I get you on that. It would still be a big deal, but it wouldn't be as big a deal, but you still think it'd be enough. You think
Yeah,
they'd still have the
yeah,
clout.
yeah, yes. But now, I did also say that the movie also might not happen at all. There's,
Yeah.
there's a chance that the movie doesn't exist and we don't get a revival of it at all.
No, I get you.
Now, now, if a film thing that would be a immediate impact, and that would be no jump the shark moment. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean, there would be no Lady Gaga cameo, no Homo becoming a app developer, now centralization of Homo into a neo-sociopath, cultures like Lisa and even more re- retain their golden age complexity.
Mm. Um, yeah, I do agree that um shortening the time would prevent them from getting like broken down to like their baser parts, but you would be missing some of the development that did pop up though.
Yeah, it would. It definitely would. Now, let's go over the broader pop cultural effect which other animated shows with live festival. Family Guy might not face so Family Guy might face less resistance from fans compared unfavorably to the success of several cultural dominance support the drama and King of the Hill filled the gap. Now, what do I mean by that? Each would be growingly less competition. They wouldn't have to compete with the success be the most beloved adult animated project. Now, adult animation as a genre might have mental schema adapted through the actions of the steady pace from steady practice. And fewer, fewer marketing campaigns and no zombie fixes. And woman,
Sure. No zombie Simpsons.
not well, 45 plus cases, the massive marketing empire plays and the sisters don't dominate as many popular ones. Video games of low effort mobile apps and the three have the power for me for and the flip side for judge about being passive fine.
Hello?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I couldn't hear anything for a second.
No, I just stopped talking that way. I could focus on my news real quick.
Okay.
Okay, so now let's go on home Record Street. I hope faithful to it is not a perpetual one. The truth that senses become um, a on top like breaking back or Bojack Horseman analyze in college cultures. Um, and analyze in cultures, self classes for a storytelling and self self vanilla vanilla humor. It may get a bit use little like Islam or with peace with faith far more accepted due to the long break and preserved quality.
Yeah, it's basically the whole absence makes the heart go fonder thing.
Yeah. Now, I've got my silver bullet here is the episode Homo HOMR from season 12 never happens. A component of the Homo get temporarily small. Homo is a great example of the post-season tunnel self experimental but the in this timeline that is never else and the success say in the realm of believable satire while the science fiction content object. Now, my final take here is if the success had the actual return, it would be remembered as the greatest in itself of all time level than the subject could go on past its prime. It would be versatile, a time capsule of 90s work, middle class, Americana, emotional storytelling, the decline of debate within it. Repressed by regulatory creativity, complication, and other worlds, instead of people asking what is it still on, they be asking why did it ever end? And that's all I have for you. Anything you want to ask?
I do agree that if it had ended like earlier, people would be wondering what happened to it, which is what happens to most shows. Though I think a 10 season run would have given people enough time to just say, hey, this thing was good, now it's over.
Okay.
Uh, but other than that, no, I think you answered most of the stuff I was thinking about. Um, I said I said season 10 because that's pretty much around the point where I would stop watching it with family.
Okay.
Um, because like season like that was my sophomore year of no, that was my junior year of high school.
Alright. Understandable.
Yeah, and senior year was like super busy, but like up to that point, I'd still been watching it with family, and it was before things did start getting a little bit crazy.
Okay. Makes sense.
Huh. Huh.
Alright. So,
But yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty much what I was after, and I can get started on mine.
yeah, let's see what you have.
All right, but what that basically boils down to is, hey, what is your obsession with me doing theories for business practices for programs? This is like every request lately has been not a story theory, but a what should this company do?
I
What's
am
up with that lately?
I but that's just obviously my mindset right now because okay, so I've been hearing, you know, rumors of Cartoon Network may shut down this year, and that's a concept of what I have been hearing for the last 6 months. So that's on my mind at the moment.
Okay, so you're just curious about what would happen to the thing.
Yeah, basically. I I promise I will try to get off it next week, but
Yeah, because like every single one is like, hey, what's this business gonna do with this thing? It's like, aren't you gonna give me a what's the secret behind this story or which character is secretly the villain? We get none of that anymore.
You will at some point I promise I will get back to that.
Okay. All right. So your whole thing, your request today was if Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network were to mysteriously disappear from existence, what would replace them that's not Disney? Now, here is the thing about that you proposed as well. You said if Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network vanished,
Yeah,
which is not Paramount or Warner Brothers. So your request was about those specific arms of those companies.
yeah,
Is that what your intention was?
yes, because I go so with Paramount, I mean, they Paramount itself had some stuff way before they owned Nickelodeon, so this would be more of, you know, pre more in 2023, well, you know, it's right before Viacom and, you know, Paramount got together because Viacom owned Nickelodeon at the time. Paramount did not, even though Paramount was their biggest partner for years. So,
All right. So I can see I see where you're going, but okay. So Paramount and Warner Brothers still active,
yeah.
but here's the thing with what you just proposed. You want to know what you just proposed in that request?
What?
You basically just said, what if Paramount focused on Paramount Plus, and what if Warner Brothers focused on HBO Max for all of their animation programming? That's where that seemed to be heading, and what your thought was, because both of those would still have that stuff going on. They would
Okay.
still be funding animation, but it would be putting it more towards their streaming services, which is what they are already basically in the process of doing with the shuttering of the original Cartoon Network studios and moving most of their stuff to California, and with Warner Brothers basically shuttering so many of the things that they have and moving so much to their streaming services. If
I gotta, I will tell you, it's a side effect of what I intended
okay.
because, yeah, it's,
Um, Now, that's not to say that that's the only thing which would happen to those two. Uh, because Cartoon Network Studios is also a company that produce, not just, didn't just air. It's more than just Warner Brothers. Yes, it's Warner Brothers, but it's a lot of the creatives that were specifically Cartoon Network creatives.
Yeah,
So I'm assuming some of your belief and some of your question is about what studios would take up that type.
yeah, yeah. That what okay. Let me set the can never down for. Let's say you know they Cartoon Network itself, not one blows shut down in 2017. What would those cartoons, you know, the Powerpuff from 16 reboot and whatever else, what networks or what studios would those go to?
Okay, so that's a different thing. You're talking about who would pick up the lost programming.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, that's not what I was thinking about when you had mentioned that.
Okay.
Because I attribute most of that stuff to Cartoon Network, and I thought you were talking about like just the company and the people within it just not producing.
Uh, okay, well,
All right, well let me get back to what I was going.
yeah.
Okay. One of the primary things that I believe would begin taking the place would be that Netflix itself, who has a major animation studio, which puts a lot of high tier, big budget animation out, would be one of the people taking charge of a lot of the push for animation. Though, because of that, there would be a lot of wide range things. And by that I mean Netflix gears mostly towards the really young and the mature, less so for the adolescent animation. Like that is one thing that Nickelodeon itself is the studio, the network that deals with animation for middle schoolers, early high school, that type of stuff more than anyone else. It's that Cartoon Network as well. Yes, Warner Brothers does have Adult Swim, which I consider slightly separate from Cartoon Network.
So do I. Uh, I'm not
Um,
included that in this, but good.
because of that, you would see more stuff pushed towards HBO Max, and you'd have things like Rick and Morty, which is still existing, but because of the changes, they would be more adult than they currently are.
Okay, I see that. I do.
Because currently, yes, do they air on HBO Max? Yes, but they also air on Cartoon Network, on Saturday evenings, in which kids are still normally going to be watching, which means they have limits that they place upon themselves. Removing Cartoon Network, removing a place that a lot of those streaming programs will still have to air around normal programming and with normal viewers causes them to still put some of the brakes on. It's what gives us things like My Adventures with Superman. It's what gives us like the I don't want to say tamer version of Rick and Morty, but it's more than what it would be if this was just a full-on streaming. But also removing the two last bastions really of network animation would mean that streaming services would fully just take over. Um, Amazon Prime, and yes, I love Amazon Prime. They put out some amazing things, but they would start becoming more the default than a secondary option.
Okay.
You would see more of the, as I said with Netflix, it's either one thing or another. Because with television programming, there's always a chance of some random person watching something, someone tuning in at a random time of day, and this is something that people need to be able to enjoy of a variety of ages. Removing Cartoon Network, removing Nickelodeon, forcing things to be more reliant on streaming would mean that if you are watching something, it is because you are choosing to watch it. So there would be no more, oh, that you happen to watch something. It's this is it, you're choosing it, which means they're being and dealing with more of the laser focus. This show is for this audience.
Mm. No.
Because that's why if you ever like turn on Netflix, you'll see that everything is separated, everything is categorized.
Yeah.
It is like this is the kids section, this is the adult section, this is that. There is no of the just this is a cartoon.
Yeah. No, I got you.
Um, Amazon Prime would take over a lot of that. I think Netflix would take more of a stake now than they currently have now.
Oh.
It would. There are people who get cable television specifically for things like Nickelodeon and things like Cartoon Network.
Yep. Okay.
But getting rid of those things would flat out get rid of like the reason for people to take those cable packages. So it would remove a lot of cable's reasons for still existing.
Mm.
You would change the type and amount of shows currently being made.
Yep.
Though it might make open a bit more freedom for some of the weirder things, for some of the lesser known studios to put their stamp out there, because you don't have like one of the all-time great juggernauts still being in existence. Web animations. You'd have things like Pendleton Ward, who was a major part of Cartoon Network, but still did a lot of web animation without Cartoon Network. Could he go towards one of these other places? It is possible, but I think he would go more independent.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Hmm.
Just so you know, I never have a strategy would be played, so I'm just playing what's in my hand.
Okay.
So just one point out there, just in case you're thinking I know what I'm doing, I don't.
I gotcha.
So, hmm.
All right, let me see this. Ooh. Almost forgot to attack.
Eh,
Okay. So yeah, that's basically my idea for like what would take place by removing Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon as things stand right now from the current industry. I wasn't thinking about going back like into the past and like saying they didn't exist. My
yeah,
main thing was trying to figure out what removing them would do to the animation landscape.
yeah, no, I got it. I wasn't intended for it to completely erase them from the history of animation. Just, as it said today, what would happen if you answered that. So, I'm not worried about it right now. So, yeah.
Hmm.
Hmm. Uh,
All right, so after next week we are doing Cleopatra, right?
yes, yes.
Okay, just confirming that with you.
Yeah, I mean, unless you have something else you want to do that I don't know about, but yeah.
Hey, I
Hmm.
was one who requested the Cleopatra show.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, if you change your mind, I need to know. um, but
But
yeah,
no, I'm good. I'm interested in watching it.
yeah, no, right. Okay. But let me ask you this, because it's only like 26 episodes in total. Do you want to take it season by season, or do you want to do the whole month and a half with that?
I say we just take we just do season by season.
Okay, so,
There's no reason to rush through the show.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe once we get near the end, if we're really excited about seeing what happens, we can do it.
Okay. Now I'm just asking because again, it's according to rule of 26 episodes, the majority of that is season one. So
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Uh, so on that note, I don't have much else for you. So I'm gonna call it night. Hope you have a good one.
You too, man. I'll
Uh,
talk to you later.
bye.